Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time, uncovering the hidden threads that weave the tapestry of human experience. Today, we find ourselves at the threshold of a pivotal moment in European history as we delve into the fascinating story of the Franco-Prussian War. This conflict, which would shape the destiny of nations and forever alter the balance of power on the continent, is a tale of intrigue, diplomacy, and ultimately bloodshed. As we begin our exploration of this seminal event, let us transport ourselves to the mid-19th century, when the seeds of discord were sown amidst the complex web of alliances and rivalries that characterized European politics. The year was 1866, and the reverberations of the Austro-Prussian War still lingered in the air, like the faint scent of gunpowder on a summer breeze. It was a time of great upheaval as the old order of Europe was being reshaped by the forces of nationalism and industrialization. We find ourselves in the grand city of Paris, where Emperor Napoleon III, the nephew of the great Napoleon Bonaparte, sat upon his throne, seeking to reassert French dominance over the continent. Across the Rhine River, in the Kingdom of Prussia, King William I and his trusted advisor, Otto von Bismarck, were busy consolidating their power and building a mighty military machine. As we explore the historical context of the Franco-Prussian War, it becomes clear that the conflict was not simply a matter of two nations clashing, but rather a complex web of alliances and rivalries that drew in multiple European powers. The Austro-Prussian War had left Austria weakened, creating a power vacuum that both France and Prussia sought to exploit. The German Confederation, a loose alliance of German states, was also drawn into the conflict, with some states siding with Prussia and others with Austria. The year 1867 saw a significant escalation of tensions between France and Prussia as Bismarck began to consolidate his power and Napoleon III grew increasingly wary of Prussian expansion. The Luxembourg crisis, which erupted in 1867, brought the two nations to the brink of war, as France attempted to purchase the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg from the Netherlands, only to be thwarted by Prussian opposition. In the midst of this rising tensions, we find key figures such as Émile Ollivier, the French foreign minister, and Helmuth von Moltke, the brilliant Prussian military strategist who would play crucial roles in shaping the course of the conflict. The stage was set for a clash of titans, as the great powers of Europe maneuvered for position and advantage. As we pause at this juncture, having explored the earliest history of the Franco-Prussian War, we find ourselves poised on the brink of a new era, one that would be defined by the clash of steel, the scent of gunpowder, and the cries of the fallen. The die was cast, and the great powers of Europe were drawn into a maelstrom of conflict as French and Prussian armies clashed on the battlefields of Sedan and Metz. And so, dear listeners, let us proceed to the next chapter in our narrative as we enter the heart of the conflict, where heroes and villains, diplomats and warriors would shape the course of history and forever alter the fate of nations. The stage is set, the players are in position, and the drama is about to unfold as we delve into the most pivotal moments of the Franco-Prussian War. Welcome back, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the annals of time, exploring the fascinating story of the Franco-Prussian War. The year 1870 was a turning point in the conflict, as French and Prussian armies clashed in a series of bloody battles that would forever alter the balance of power in Europe. The Battle of Wissembourg, fought on July 4, 1870, marked the beginning of the end for the French Second Empire, as Prussian forces under the command of Helmuth von Moltke crushed the French army, inflicting heavy casualties and sending shockwaves throughout France. As we delve deeper into this period, we find that the Prussian military machine was a force to be reckoned with, its efficiency and organization proving to be more than a match for the French army. The use of railroads, telegraphs, and other modern technologies allowed the Prussians to mobilize their troops quickly and effectively, giving them a significant advantage on the battlefield. Meanwhile, in Paris, Emperor Napoleon III was facing increasing pressure from his own people as the war effort faltered and the economy began to suffer. The French government was in disarray, with politicians and generals alike struggling to come up with a coherent strategy to counter the Prussian advance. One of the most significant events of this period was the Battle of Sedan, fought on September 1, 1870, where the French army suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the Prussians. The battle marked the end of the Second Empire and the capture of Napoleon III, who would be exiled to England. As we reflect on these pivotal moments, it becomes clear that the Franco-Prussian War was not just a conflict between two nations, but a clash of ideologies and cultures. The war marked the rise of Prussia as a dominant power in Europe and the decline of France as a major player on the continent. In the words of Otto von Bismarck, "The great questions of the day will not be settled by speeches and majority decisions, but by iron and blood." These words encapsulate the spirit of the time as European powers struggled for dominance and the fate of nations hung in the balance. The war marked the beginning of a new era in European politics, one that would be characterized by the rise of nationalism and the decline of traditional empires. Join us next time on History with Herodotus, as we uncover the hidden threads that weave the tapestry of human experience and reveal the fascinating story of one of history's most pivotal moments. Welcome back, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, as we conclude our journey through the annals of time, exploring the fascinating story of the Franco-Prussian War. The Treaty of Frankfurt, signed on May 10, 1871, marked the official end of the Franco-Prussian War, with France being forced to cede Alsace-Lorraine to Germany and pay a significant indemnity. This treaty had far-reaching consequences, as it not only reshaped the map of Europe, but also created a deep-seated sense of resentment among the French people. The loss of Alsace-Lorraine in particular was felt deeply by the French, who saw it as a betrayal of their national identity. As we delve deeper into this period, we find that the Franco-Prussian War marked a significant turning point in European history. The war led to the unification of Germany under Prussian leadership, with King Wilhelm I being proclaimed Emperor of Germany on January 18, 1871, at the Palace of Versailles. This event marked the beginning of a new era in European politics, one that would be characterized by the rise of nationalism and the decline of traditional empires. The war also had significant social and economic consequences. The French economy, which had been struggling before the war, was severely impacted by the conflict. The indemnity paid to Germany, amounting to 5 billion francs, placed a heavy burden on the French people, leading to widespread poverty and discontent. In contrast, the German economy experienced a period of rapid growth, fueled by the influx of capital from the indemnity and the exploitation of the natural resources of Alsace-Lorraine. In the years following the war, France underwent a significant transformation as the Third Republic was established, marking the end of the monarchy and the beginning of a new era in French politics. The French people, however, never forgot the humiliation of defeat, and the desire for revenge against Germany became a dominant theme in French foreign policy. As we reflect on these events, it becomes clear that the Franco-Prussian War was not just a conflict between two nations, but a clash of ideologies and cultures that would have far-reaching consequences. The war marked the beginning of a new era in European politics, one that would be characterized by the rise of nationalism, militarism, and imperialism. In the words of historian Erich Hobsbawm, the Franco-Prussian War was the first of the modern wars, a war of nations, not just of armies. These words encapsulate the significance of this conflict, which marked a turning point in European history and set the stage for the great conflicts of the 20th century. And so, dear listeners, as we conclude our journey through the annals of time, exploring the fascinating story of the Franco-Prussian War, we are reminded that the consequences of this conflict are still felt today. The war marked the beginning of a new era in European politics, one that would be characterized by the rise of nationalism and the decline of traditional empires. As we look to the future, it is essential that we remember the lessons of the past. lest we forget the devastating consequences of war and the importance of diplomacy and cooperation in shaping the course of human history. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history with Herodotus. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.